Hello, everybody. It's Becky Bamboo. Long time no see. How have you guys been? So today is Sunday. It's July 13th of 2018. I haven't done an update in quite a while. There's been a lot going on in my life, good, bad, ugly. That's life. So I wanted to come back and start getting more active in my channel again. I made a decision, a conscious decision, a good decision, about maybe 3 weeks ago, that I really needed to get back into the swing of living my truth, and that I have not been living the best way in terms of my post-op weight loss surgery life. So those of you who've been with me forever, you probably follow me on Facebook. Those of you who are maybe new to my channel, I had gastric bypass surgery in June of 2010. So I am a full 8 years post-op. At my heaviest, I was just under 430 pounds. At my smallest, I got to 187 pounds. And I'm going to be honest with where I'm at. I'm going to live in my truth. This is a number I have not said out loud in a long time. I am not proud of, but it is a byproduct of the choices I have made. So, I am currently 275 pounds, 275.2 to be exact. So I decided to join a Back on Track course, weight loss surgery Back on Track course. It started last week on Sunday, so I'm a full week in. And I am down 5 pounds this week. So I was 280.2 when I'm jumping back into this. So over the last 8 years, the weight has creeped up pretty consistently since having children. So I had reached 187. I got something in my eye, and it's going to drive me bonkers. So forgive me for constantly poking myself in the eye. I got to get it out. So at my lowest, I was 187. I was a runner. That was something that I never would have thought I would say in my life. And I was a runner. I was running an average of 3 to 4 miles, 4 to 5 days a week. And that was in addition to about 2 hours of gym time, 5 days a week. So a gym rat. I was having to work out a lot to maintain that weight. And quite frankly, I wasn't really all that thrilled with the way that I looked at that weight. I felt like I was a bit too small for all of the excess skin I carry. And I know that having plastics done was not going to happen for me. So I got pregnant. And I had my son in August of 2012, so he turns 6 this August, which blows my mind. He finished kindergarten in May, and he will start first grade this August, and it blows my mind how fast the time is going. After I had my son, I started to have some issues with my back. I started having very, very chronic back pain that came on very suddenly, just literally woke up, was completely back into my fitness, running. I woke up one day and had so much pain in my back and down my leg that I could barely stand and walk. I dealt with that for almost 3 years before I finally had a spinal fusion surgery done in 2016. It was a long road to get to the point of having the fusion done, but it literally saved my life. I was in so much pain every day, and by that point I had 2 children. My daughter is 3.5 now. That it was unbearable. I couldn't function in my daily life because of chronic back pain and pain in my leg and weakness in my leg, and I was no longer able to work out, and I was no longer able to just have any quality of life. I literally was living on pain pills and muscle relaxers from hour to hour. I couldn't wait for the next dose to get in my system to give me very, very little relief. But I was a full time working nurse, full time mom. It was really hard. I had spinal fusion surgery. And if you don't know much about spinal fusion surgery, recovery from fusion is very long. It takes a full year to recover. Basically, the first couple of months, you don't move at all. You sit all the time. Then you very slowly start to progress into walking. You can walk 5 minutes a day. You can walk 10 minutes a day. So it's a very long, long journey to back to health and back to fitness and back to movement. So it's almost a year of being pretty inactive. So obviously, weight gain came along after that surgery, and I wasn't eating well at all either. It was just everything I could do to get through a day, because it is painful surgery. It is a painful recovery. It is a very mentally taxing recovery. And I had two kids to consider and think about and juggle, and I had to move in with my parents, so I had somebody. I couldn't even lift my baby. My youngest was 14 months old when I had my spinal fusion, and I couldn't pick her up. So I had to have somebody who could pick her up, change her diaper, act as a mom, because I literally couldn't. So I had that done. I got back to work, back to reality in September, and then I decided in May, last year in May, no, 2 years ago in May, to make a career change, and I went from being a dialysis nurse to an operating room nurse, and that was going great for me come August of last year. And we took our family on a cruise, and I came home with a very odd illness that's very rare called Maudé debarquement syndrome. It's basically where I feel like I'm on a boat constantly. I have a constant sense of rocking, swaying, bobbing, as well as lots of dizziness, vertigo, nausea, ear pain. I've had constant ringing in my ears for almost a year now. Lots of fullness feeling in my head. Just generally feeling unwell. It took 5.5 months before I finally could see a neurologist about it, who basically didn't have a lot of answers for me other than to say, yeah, there's something neurologically going on here. In the middle of all of that, I did vestibular rehab to try to learn how to regain my balance. I attempted to go back to work in November, so I was off from August until November, tried to go back to work. I fell 45 minutes into my first shift. Falling has become something that's very common for me. I get very dizzy and bouts of vertigo that just hit me out of nowhere, and I go down. So I fell in the operating room, and what I thought is I had tore up my shoulder. My right shoulder immediately had pain. I had pain down the inner aspect of my elbow. And then over time, I started developing numbness in my thumb and my finger. So I saw an orthopedic surgeon, did a bunch of imaging, which nothing was real conclusive. So he decided to go ahead and do a scope of my shoulder just to make sure that we didn't miss something in the imaging, because I had constant pain. Nothing really, there was a couple of minor things wrong with my shoulder, but nothing real major. Post-op recovery from shoulder surgery really sucks. Let me just say that. The PT is very painful. It's the most painful surgery I've ever had. In the middle of all of that, I also had a full hysterectomy done. I had a prolapsed uterus that was causing me lots of discomfort, lots of pain, nonstop bleeding. It was time to say goodbye to that, so I recovered from a hysterectomy. When I went back to my orthopedic surgeon for follow-up, the shoulder pain never went away. And he's like, I have this suspicion that maybe we should have looked at your neck. So I recently went for an MRI of my neck, and lo and behold, I have a whole bunch of issues in my neck. I have two big disc herniations, and some annular tearing. Now the question is the neck really what's causing the dizziness condition that I have? So I just had an epidural steroid injection done last week to the C5-6 level, right side. Uh, the numbness in my hand has gone away. The pain in my shoulder has diminished significantly. So this was more to be done as a diagnostic tool because of my spine history and the presentation of these herniations. I was told right away I was going to need to see a surgeon. So this is something I'm going to probably be facing some kind of neck surgery for. I have no idea what they will do until I see a surgeon. But I had to go through the epidural first to make sure that we were going to be looking at the correct level for pain control. So it looks like the herniation at C5-6 is the real issue for what's causing the pain in my shoulder, my arm. So now that we know that, it is just a process. I go back to the doctor who did my epidural at the beginning of August, and then I'll be referred to a surgeon, and we'll go from there. But so all of these things have compiled over the course of time I've just gradually added weight because I've been kind of chronically ill for the last like 5 years, basically. So I finally just decided I have to live my truth. I have to speak my reality. I have to get myself in check. I have to take control over what I'm putting in my body in terms of food because I'm physically really unable to do much activity-wise due to the dizziness and falling. So I got to get it in check in the kitchen. So I joined this weight loss surgery back on track course. It is a very structured program, which I love. There's books, there's education material, and then every week we have a meeting on Sunday nights. And so tonight will be the start of week 2. I'm down 5 pounds. I feel much more in control, and I'm excited because I want to get back to at least having the rest of my body feel good. I've lied to myself for a long time saying, "Oh, I feel fine. I'm good. It's, nothing, it's not a big deal." But that's not really been the truth. The truth is I have not felt well. And I knew that I was not feeding myself appropriately. And I've fallen into the mom trap of, well, I'm going to eat what my kids eat because that's easier than making 2 things, and my kids don't eat anything because they're super picky, and they snack and I snack, and I've just gone back into some really bad habits. So I'm here to kind of revamp my weight loss surgery channel to answer questions as someone who I've gone through the gamut of up and down and inside out with weight loss surgery life. And yeah, the struggle now it's a lot harder than it was when I was first losing weight. I'm not a honeymooner. I'm a veteran. So it's time for me to practice what I preach to other people when they ask me about weight loss surgery and really get back to a feel-good place. So that is what this is all about. I am speaking my truth, and I have started for the last week. I have journaled my food intake. I've counted calories and protein, and it's working. I'm down 5 pounds in this week. So I'm excited for what's ahead with me. And I just wanted to let you guys know I'm going to be back. I'm going to be present more. You're going to get used to seeing me try to do at least a weekly post every week, and then maybe some in between. And if you have questions, please feel free to ask away. And I'm an open book. I've always been an open book. So if you are curious about spinal fusion, you're curious about having kids post-op, whatever it is, just ask. And I will see you guys when I see you. Bye.